Tell him never, tell him say you there. Tell him say you there. Tell him never, tell him say you there. Tell him say you there. Yeah, we just send them go down. 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 Tell them say you there. Tell them say you there. Tell him never, tell them say you there. Tell them say you there. We just send them go down. We just send them go down. We just send them go down. Enjoy media. Look for vitality and for faith. For faith, Charlie. Hey, if you go to see for road, and you might do. Today, I go to Monday, I see in a bad road. Oh, bad road. Tell them say you there. Tell you never, tell them say you there. Tell you never, tell them say you there. Tell them say you there. Yeah, we just send them go down. Tell them, we just send them go down. Send them go down. We just send them go down.
Yeah, wait a minute, brother. Hello? Hello? Yeah, welcome to the show.
We just send them go down. We just send them go down. We just send them go down. Tell them say you there. Tell them say you there. Tell you never, tell them say you there. Tell them say you there. We just send them go down. Send them go down. Yeah, we just send them go down. We just send them go down.
All right, let me join my big brother Abraham Fufana, aka Mr. Football, a Liberian community leader there based in the Netherlands, to welcome Philly Cebu. Welcome. Welcome here shortly. I'll be joined by my studio guest, our studio guest for that matter, Afro Vinkin, great name. Welcome to the program, the Print News Review. This is a program we go into some of the newspapers that are online and take a look at some of the stories that are trending there. So we have the allafrica.com, we have the News Public Trust, and Front Page Africa. Indeed, our studio guest, veteran journalist, the Liberian journalist as well, based there in Norway, will be here as a special guest analyst. And indeed, our talking point tonight, yes, our talking point tonight is this. Will it be right for the people of Liberia to institute citizens arrest for Mr. Samuel Gweh or Emmanuel Gweh? Samuel Gweh, right? Thank you so much, Mr. Fala. Welcome. It's great to see you all the way there from Liberia, Monrovia, watching live. So that's the question tonight on our talking point, eh? Would it be okay for the people of Liberia to institute citizens arrest? Citizen arrest for Mr. Samuel Gweh, the finance minister of Liberia. Oh yeah, that's what people are talking about now in Liberia. I think it's just left with the ultimatum to be set. But citizens said they want to arrest him. He failed to turn himself over, or the government failed to turn him over. Liberia politics getting interesting. People are getting interested in Liberian issues. So let me say good evening, good morning, good afternoon to all of you. It's great to be here. It's great to be on the show again, the print news review. We have for the next 1 hour 30 minutes or so, and we'll also give you the opportunity to participate. Please help to share the video on your platform. Yeah, I'm begging you. Yeah. Okay, I'm begging you now, please. Just share on 1 or 2 groups that you are in. At least you're not forcing anybody to come, but just throw it there, somebody will want to come and watch. Yeah, just do it that way. Thank you. Thanks for the likes or so, but sharing is, it's really important. So just click the button share and you go to group. You click the group and then you just select which group you want to share in. The group then will appear on your timeline, and you just click on that thing, boom, it's gone. It's gone to how many, almost everybody that will be active in that group at that moment. Or just throw it on your timeline as well. Just click on share, and then you go to your timeline. All your friends, them Facebook family people will receive the notification and they will come. So it's great to be here. It's wonderful. We appreciate your comments as well. We'll read them as we go along. It's great to be here. So that's the question we are asking tonight. Let me wear my earphone. That's a question we are asking tonight. Will it be in the right direction for the people of Liberia to institute citizens arrest on Mr. Samuel Gweh, the finance minister, should he refuse to turn himself over, or the government of Liberia refuse to turn him over? Will it be in the right direction? That is our talking point. But anyway, let's take one more song while we try to link up with our studio guests. Let's take this one here. Liberia was not like this. Let's see what we can get live for now. Oh yes, Liberia was not like this. Oh God, we're going to get some at least fresh memories as well. Our brother will take us back a little bit whether Liberia was like this or was not like this. Compare and contrast. Yeah, my papa used to tell me, oh yeah, may your soul rest in peace. Say my son, you're growing up in the midst of the civil war. You don't get future. I didn't believe it. I thought, yeah, the freedom the people are bringing the freedom. They were just going to make me be taking money in the street and be finding money also. Oh God, my future was mortgage up to now. People can't pay the mortgage, so I don't have no more future in Liberia. Okay, let's say welcome to the show. We're just going to start right away. Thanks to each and every one of you. Thanks to especially those of you that are sharing the video. We appreciate you so much. And you know, it's always a blessing to be with you guys. Tomorrow we'll be in Nigeria after election. What next? We'll be having a studio guest tomorrow from Nigeria, Lagos to be specific. Yes, we'll be talking about the Nigerian politics tomorrow. And tomorrow afternoon, hopefully by the grace of God, we'll be in Ghana, Accra. Today, 62 years old today, Ghana. Hey, 62. And then when you go to Ghana, you go to Accra. Try to book a flight that you should arrive in Accra at night. Hey, my God. Yeah. Sometimes you just want to stick. You just want to tell the pilot to just keep moving around the city, man, in the night. Oh, so beautiful. When you're coming down, it's like, eh. All right, okay. Linford, let me call the real name. Welcome, Bibera. How you doing, veteran?
Yeah, I'm fine, Max, and it's good to be on your show this evening.
Yeah. You know, for those of us that grew up in the midst of the Civil War, I mean, those of you, I mean, by virtue of the voice alone, sometimes you know, if you ever listen to radio, good in Liberia, yeah, before even the 1990 war, and then yeah, I mean, if you listen to radio, good, the voice, yeah, you don't need to tell you the name or so, you know. So, people are welcome. It's great to it's great. Thank you so much. It was an impromptu invitation, but this is it. It's your profession. So thank God you still living with you and you still living inside the profession that we are, somebody can just tell us, boom, can I interview you now? And you say, yeah, I'm ready. So thank you so much for accepting the invitation for us to come and do some.
Well, it's a pleasure, you know, or we journalists, we always on the lookout, and you know, I remember when I used to work as a journalist, I always made sure that in my house, my clothes were pressed. You know, we used to have a little coat suit, so it was always pressed and neatly hanging up, because anytime he will call you and then we on the move. And so once a journalist, always a journalist, and we we are in this business, always ready, because the news or the happenings do not sleep. And so since the happenings do not sleep, we journalists that are charged with the responsibility of, you know, disseminating or collecting and disseminating the news to the public, we shouldn't be asleep as well, because if we sleep, then I think we're going to find ourselves behind and we cannot catch up. So we're always ready. And thanks for, you know, the invitation. And I hope we can, you know, discuss the issues that you have on your table tonight. As far as we can.
Okay, Linford is great. For the benefit of those that are, you know, are going to hear your voice for the first time or so, and maybe they will look so strange to them. Tell us a little bit about yourself, you know, and tell us, you know, you made a little mention that, you know, as a journalist, so already people got a clue that, oh, man, journalist. So let's hear from you.
Well, you know, I think it's a bit difficult to always describe yourself and then talk about yourself, but nobody knows you like you know yourself, and so I will venture to just tell your listening audience a little bit of myself. Of course, I'm a Liberian, and I come from Bon County, so I guess a lot of Bon County people will be listening, and probably some of you might have heard me on the radio a long time ago. I worked as I started my journalism career way in the 80s. You know, I worked at least 2-3 years before the war, and I used to work with the Liberia Rural Communications Network, what we call LRCN, and we, I was assigned in Monrovia, but we had 3 stations, one in Banga, which was ERG, one was in Vonjama, ERV, and one was in Zwedru, ERZ. And yeah, I had a program called Network Liberia, along with my mentor, Sonny Buku George. And then we also had another one for the rural listeners, which was called Newspaper on Air, similar to what you're going to do tonight. We used to collect the major newspapers, and then, on a Friday, from Monday to Friday, we go through it and then take the major news and read it and then relay to our off stations, that were the outside stations, Bangas, Fonjoma, and Swedru. And so those are the 2 programs I was doing. And then came the war, 1990. And, as a young, fresh journalist, I was still ambitious. And then I got caught up across the line, the rebel line. In fact, as a matter of fact, I was at the radio station that morning, July 2, 1990. Because I used to live very close to the ERW road, somewhere the other road going to Town Hall. And then I used to go to work early in the morning, and I was at the studio when they were walking, and the guys invaded the area, so I got caught across the battle line, and this is how I ended up again in Greater Liberia. And in Greater Liberia, there were really, really serious need for journalists to operate the various stations that we had, like in Banga, Vonjama, and Swedru. So since I come from Bon County, we ended up in Banga, and then, came to Habel. We set up the FM radio station there, and at some point we were the only radio station operating in Liberia after ERW was bombed and ERBC was also damaged. So we had the radio station in Habel, and we worked, we did what we could to keep our people informed, and afterwards few radio stations started springing up in Monrovia. But we did what we could, and this is how we became journalists. And then I worked until 1999. I left Liberia. So we've been around there for a while, and we still hang in there.
Wow. Info, I mean, these are periods that where I can say, I don't know whether I should say that this way, that maybe the field of journalism was a bit enjoyable or somehow challenging, or how would you describe those periods of your time in Liberia as a journalist? Whether you're taking it from the Dole perspective or some kind of time, Charles Taylor, or so, how was it?
Well, I think basically I will go a little bit beyond or before I became a journalist, and my becoming a journalist was just something, or tennis, something inborn, because I still remember when I was a little kid, my uncle used to have this little Sony radio, in a brown pack, a small portable radio in the brown pack. You can open it and then put the batteries and stuff like that. I think a lot of people know those radios, and it was a very powerful radio. And he used to have this radio. This man was so glued to this radio. But the thing that interested me was that this little box will speak all of the languages in Liberia, the dialects in Liberia, and it will speak English. It will sing, and I was kind of like, these people living in this box, and I see myself, I cannot fit in that box. But how so many different people living in this box, and I became so interested, And then every time my uncle would open this radio, he would open the radio and then take the batteries and give it to me. I land there in the sun. In the evening, we put them back. So then this is how I said, well, I think I have to, when I was going to school, then I got interested in radio. And all of a sudden, I moved to Monrovia, and they used to have this program called Saturday Special, where they used to go outside with the OB broadcast. And then I would try by all means just to talk on the radio. I remember 2 different times I tried, walked or distance. I remember one time they were around Douala and I had to walk from the bypass or listen on the bypass, literally walked. And when we got there, the program was, we couldn't get online. The second time I tried, we got there, and I was lucky. The man came to me with the microphone, and imagine I forgot my name. The man asked me, I was so nervous. For the first time I was talking on the radio, the man asked me, what's your name? I forgot my name.
Oh my God.
And then later on, of course, I remember my name again. And then, I told him, and then, where you come from? I say, I come from Capital Bypass. What you want to say? I say, I just want to tell my mom hello. That's all. So this radio thing was in me. But to answer your question directly, Mike, and probably I need to go a little bit deeper how I got into this radio thing. And then when I started going to high school, first in junior high school, I was in Pastor English, and I joined the Teen Town Quiz, this Bible quizzing, because they used to be on the radio. That was one of the main purposes that drew me to that.
I remember that.
I'm not praising myself, but anybody who listened to Teen Town Quiz during our days from 1978, was the first time Pastor Teenage joined the Teen Town Quiz 78, 79, 80, 81, 82 until I left high school. I was doing quizzing. So a lot of people might remember. And so just because I wanted to talk on radio, so I joined the Teen Town Quiz from Pastor Teenage, and then we did well. We carried the trophy, and so I was getting interested. And then the whole thing again, when I left junior high school, I entered Haywood Mission School. Then journalism was part of the courses at Haywood Mission. So you see how things connected. So then I said, okay, I think this is the brightest opportunity for me to become a journalist. So, and Max Kpakio, who was working at ERBC, at the time, was our instructor. He and Joe Moriba from ERWA, Max Kpakio from ERBC. So we had these 2 guys teaching us. And those were household names in journalism. The very Aaron Colley that you see, Aaron Colley was my junior when I was in 10th grade, 1980. Aaron was in 9th grade. But Aaron was actually working at a radio station, ERBC, as a kid there. So we, then at that time, there was also a program on the radio at ERBC called High School Report.
Yeah, okay, I heard of that too. We met it.
So I started with this guy who was doing the High School Report for Haywood at the time, Elijah Dunbar. He was in the senior class when I was in 10th grade. So he said, "Look, my man, since you're interested in the radio thing here, the senior class lesson 2 hard for me. So I'll just help you. We'll do the news, then you go read it on Friday. We used to go read on Friday, and then Saturday we'll stay home and listen to ourselves. So our news from Haywood was very special. The reason why it was special was that we had 2 journalists teaching us. So whenever we wrote our news at the time, then we edit it to the standard of real news broadcast. So then when we go to read, we have standard news compared to other students who just came from other schools, whose scripts will be edited at the studio and stuff like that. So, this is how I grew interest. And when I graduated from high school, then I started pursuing, and then finally I got a job at LRCM, 1988. You see, but then to directly answer your question, Max,
that's Liberia Rural Communication Network, right?
Yeah. And journalism those days, I will tell you, it was a kind of job that when you do, you are proud of yourself, because anybody will stand in the street and say anything. They will not believe you. They say, "Oh, don't matter, man." But the moment you're working at a radio station, the moment you stand in the street, even if you lie, people will believe you. Who sell it? Or Max sell it. We heard it from Max. So those of us that were in the media at the time, we were very careful what we say.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, how we say what we say, whether jokingly or not. But it was also a kind of profession that I will tell you something. It was very, very difficult to enter that profession in Liberia those days. You had, I just want to go back a little bit. You have people like Timano Clark Williams at Ministry of Information. Those are people you couldn't get breakthrough easily. You have people like Ahaji J.V. Kroma then at ERBC. Those people, when they're talking, so when we enter the news or when we enter the media, we were very disciplined. We knew that we had a responsibility to inform the people, and whatever we say was right. Whether we sell it jokingly or whether we lie, it was right to the people. So we had a responsibility. But nowadays, things have changed. And I don't blame anybody because we have the social media. One, Tom, Dick, and Harry can sit in his living room and just post anything, imagine anything, and say it, and think that, you know, he's not making effect. But I would want to advise people or just enlighten people's mind that whatever you say, whatever you post on social media, it has power, because people tend to believe what they read. Whatever you read, whatever you see, whatever you hear, you don't forget it. Even if you forget it, when someone mentions it 100 years from now, you still remember that you have seen it, you have heard it, you have read it. Yeah. So the media was quite different at the time compared to now. Yeah. It was a responsible kind of discipline that people went into with pride and dignity. I mean, journalists used to stand out when you're walking in the street. I mean, I don't want to boast, but some of us, when we went places, those days, so, oh, my man, can't say that, man, you know. So this is, and we became proud those days. But nowadays, I think things are a bit different. And of course, this is a society or the kind of the age that we live in. And then we expect that things will even get worse as you know technology improves. So wow. And you asked me how it was during my time. It was kind of difficult. Okay, it was kind of difficult working. I have just started working 2 years roughly, and then walking. Then I found myself in a war situation, in a war zone. So being a journalist in a war zone was not easy, and we had to balance our story. We had to balance it between our listeners and the newsmakers. What do I mean? The newsmakers were basically the warlords, the people fighting the war, the different factions, and then the listeners were just the ordinary recipients. And so what did the listeners want to hear? They wanted to hear what was happening and who was making this news. They were the warlords. And so how do we, working for these warlords, how do we present the facts from the force to our listeners? So it was kind of difficult. And this is where we had to choose between what I would call today sycophantic journalism to factual journalism, because some of us, I'm not saying all, but some of us, we didn't want to, you know, dilute the taste of our profession for anything. Yeah. I would just give you one short story. Before the FM station in Habel that we ran, before it fell, I was the last person that worked on the radio for 3 days before it fell off. And I didn't know that the late General Hezekiah Bowen was one man who was glued to that radio station from Greater Liberia, from Habel, just to get information. And I didn't know this man. I knew his name. I didn't know him. I have not seen him before. And this radio station fell a long time. 1993, we left. We went all through Banga, and then we went back to Monrovia after the election when President Taylor was elected. Former President Taylor was elected. I was working at a certain mansion, and there was one press conference where all of the ministers went to. And after this press conference, we were just packing our equipment, and General Bowen was sitting there with his bodyguards and whatever. At the time, he was Minister of Rural Development or something like that. Yeah, I don't know which ministry, but I think Rural Development. And somebody just called my name, Linford. He said, "Oh, is this a Linford?" I said, "Call him." So he sent his bodyguard to call me, and I came. You know, those days, man, when the minister called you, all my friends were saying, "Oh, my man, that interview put me on the." And I went outside by the minister, Minister Bowen. He said, He said, you like Linford Gweh? I said, yes. He shake my hand. I shook his hand. I'm not praising myself. The mayor told me, he said, you know, I listened to all of you in Greater Liberia, but your program was very factual. You got a program called Daily Feature. So your program was very factual. Your program was balanced. It was developmental. It was developmental oriented. So you informed people. You gave us the real fact. You didn't, you know, because some of us, like me, like I was talking with myself. I didn't want to dilute the taste of my profession. I didn't want to create a scenario where, you know, I will compromise. So it was difficult working those days as a journalist to keep on track, to do the right thing in a situation like that, Mac.
You've been abroad for a little while now, but yet and still you follow development back home to your country, and you contribute as well because you're also on social media and responding, and also in a way trying to interject some of those vices that we all supposed to grasp and say, look, this is how we should move the country forward. In terms of the media and its relations to the government of the day, let's start from Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's time to present. Have you seen the kind of distinct relationship between the media and the press, where you say, well, I am satisfied, I am okay for what I'm seeing, media and government relations, I think it's okay? Or would you want to advise with respect to what you have spotted, and you think if they continue with that trend, it could be bad?
Well, let me tell you, there are people, the media is an institution. The media by itself is an institution.
Yeah.
And there are people who work in the media. So similarly, I will make a comparison with government. Government is an institution, and then there are individuals who work in government. So the structure is there. It's like a house. Okay, so if Max, you were living in this apartment, and then before I moved in, probably you used to sweep every day and vacuum clean every day, and that made your apartment very clean. And then when you left, I came in this new apartment, and I don't vacuum clean, I don't clean up, I didn't do anything, but the apartment is still there as an apartment, right? Yeah. So this is government, and this is the media. The media is an institution, and people who work in the media, they have different way of doing things. And similarly, so is government. So to directly answer that question, whether yes or no, is a difficult one. But people who work in the media, like I said, some people, they would like to, probably compromise for some reasons. And what we see today in Liberia, and that started, let me be frank with you, that started from the wartime. We have factional journalism during the wartime, because people who live in Greater Liberia, of course, know the horns from Greater Liberia, and people who live in Monrovia at the time, and this is how, in fact, they named Greater Liberia and smaller Liberia, something that came about. You see, so the factions or the people who lived in those parts of the country at the time, they were holding on to their own ideas. It's the same like today. If you look at the media in Liberia today, we got media that are sponsored by big hands. Yeah. And you don't expect an institution like that to, of course, go against the sponsors. Okay? And then we got independent media who struggle. They struggle to survive. And so they want to be factual because they want to feed the public. Their survival depends on the public. So they will kind of be a little bit independent, void of censorship. They will try to be independent. Then we also see the situation where the media is being pressured. The media is being pressured in some ways. And then censorship comes. I saw a video, I think yesterday, where when they were leading Robert Salif and the rest of the guys to, I think, to the court or to the police station, and this girl from Front Page Africa with the video camera, she was trying to video, and the police car came and said, "No, do not video." And she was telling the guy, "No, Mama, you hammocking me." That was exactly what she said. "Mama, you hammocking me, leave me," like that, and they was coughing. And in a situation like that, you will find out that two things will happen. One, you will either succumb to the power that be, or you will try to remain who you are and do your work, but under a risky situation. So then, the media-government relationship today is something that I personally would say is not what I expect in a democratic nation like ours. Because in a democratic nation like ours, the media, in fact, is considered the fourth branch of government. So we should be giving that free hand to work. We should be giving the freedom to, and it baffles me that recently the government approved the Free Speech Act, and that just in less than 1 month, we saw what happened to Henry Costa's radio station 2 different times in less than 1 month. And I just heard that another radio station, he lost a transmitter 2 days ago or so. You see, so with these things happening, I don't think, I personally, I mean, this is not the opinion of the press, but it's me as an individual. I think the media government relationship is not what I expect it to be.
Let's hope
not what I expect it to be.
Let's hope things will improve. On the studio with me this afternoon, this evening, or this morning, depending from wherever you're watching the program, for following on this print news review, as our special guest analyst is it's a veteran, let me put it that way, big brother, veteran, of course, Linford Gweh. That's a original name. Of course, many will remember from Liberia. All right, we're going to take a short musical break with respect to, just to go in line with what he just coming from saying. Maybe we can, I would ask, to this music, we can try to find an answer. And then when we come back, we'll go strictly to allafrica.com and take some of the stories there as well.
Oh, Doddy, what shall we do? Oh, Doddy, what shall we do? Oh, Doddy, what shall we do?
Okay, welcome back. What shall we do? That's the question in the midst of something like this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. We're here on the print news review. Please help out. You can continue now. For those of you that are following, the caption is there. I want us to, we have the talking point tonight. It's linked to the ongoing investigation of the missing money also. But what we're hearing from Liberia is that citizens are planning to institute citizens arrest. And even this morning, it was re-echoed by one senator, Senator Johnson, Dasso Johnson of Bomi County, and also by the collaborating political parties as well. And that is just hanging up now. But then the question now is this. I want you to help me to answer the question as well tonight before the end of the show. Give your opinion. Is it in the right direction for the citizen, for the people of Liberia to institute citizen arrest on Mr. Samuel Gweh? That's the question we're asking tonight. So let's quickly go now as you continue with your points, and we'll be reading them as we go along. But quickly, let's go to the allafrica.com. What we do is to read out the headlines, and of course, our special guest analyst will decide as to which headlines you want us to expand on, that we can perhaps opinion and read it to each and everyone, and then he will give his own personal opinion with respect to the story that will be reported. Of course, now maybe not all Africa.com, because this won't cover the whole of Africa, but how we just want to share with you what is going on in some part of Africa, and then from there we'll go back home right away. I will just read these and go to you. Cameroon quickly, allafrica.com. US and Europe turn up the heat on government. In Cameroon, US and Europe turn up the heat on government. I've been following stories there, or some of us, we know what happened in Cameroon, especially in the English-speaking side of Cameroon. Trouble has been there for a long time, and destabilization is there, and horrible stuff been going on there since last year. But if this statement or if this news report is true, that US and Europe turn up the heat on government, then I will embrace that. Okay, quickly, this one say in Zimbabwe, it says, yeah, bread is no longer affordable for Zimbabweans. Wow. Hey, Baba Mugabe days are back. I can't believe there is a crocodile man is in power, is it? Bread is no longer affordable for Zimbabweans. This is now good news as well. Kenya MP suspend dam project over corruption. In Kenya, MPs, that's members of parliament, suspend dam projects over corruption. That's why the people elected you for when the concession agreement are signed and things are not going properly. Yes, you have to take decisive action on behalf of your people. Thank you to the MPs there in Kenya. MPs suspend dam projects over corruption. Quickly to this, I go to South Sudan. UN Commission accuses oil firms of fueling armed conflict. That's South Sudan. I think our brother is also watching from there, from South Sudan. It says here, UN Commission accuses oil firms of fueling armed conflict. This is very common, especially when conflict is on and war is being fired. So if rebels control that area, whatever company that is controlling that, definitely, they have to be buying and be paying to the rebels. So that's how they can get money and buy weapons and things. So the issue of South Sudan, see why the war can finish there as well. Quickly to this, maybe probably the last one here, if not the least. Namibia, first apology from a German government official for atrocities. Wow. Okay. Story seems to be interesting. First apology from a German government official for atrocities. These things happened there a couple of years ago. So the German. This is wild. I like about some of the Western world. They do take responsibility sometimes. They do come out and say, "Oh, we're sorry. We are responsible for this." In Africa, it's hard. South Africa. Okay, let's do this last one. Okay, Zimbabwe, former minister. Okay, let's leave that. Okay, all right. These are stories that are trending across the continent of Africa. Linford, it just not to go into particular, particular story or so. You want to throw light on any of the headlines that you heard here? Whether it has to do with Kenya,
the one that captured my attention is the one where the oil firm has been accused of fueling atrocities or whatever. Yeah, and these things are common everywhere around the world, and those of you or those of us who follow the happenings around the world, we know that most of the crises, it could be local crisis. When I mean local, like civil war or something has to fuel it, or something must be the cause. I'm sure it could either be political or something of value, because people will not just get up and go take arms and start shooting each other. It's not possible, It's not possible. Something must fuel it up. And then when it comes to the international ones that happen, where countries will cross border and go to other countries, and we all know these things happen. There must be something, because there's nothing for nothing. Somebody's not going to buy one round of ammunition for maybe $10 US, just one single round for $10 and go blow it or somewhere for nothing. You must be getting something in return. So when we hear that some of these things are happening, wherever there is smoke, there must be some heat, if not fire. So we know from our own backyard, for many years ago, we know that some of these things happen, you know. So that story, I think, is sad for our brothers, our African brothers and sisters in South Sudan. This is just, I think this is the newest country in Africa, and they should be thinking about, you know, growing the economy so that they can catch up with the rest of the African countries that gained independence long ago, that are doing well. And not only because you gained independence long ago, it means that you are doing well. Liberia is not doing well. I mean,
Yeah.
put it that way, compared to countries like, you know, Rwanda, Burkina Faso, you know, and so on. So I think our brothers and sisters in South Sudan, they should see reason, and then they should look at other countries in Africa where conflicts have raged and damaged every structure they have, like Liberia, and let them forget about fueling their war with their own oil. I mean, African countries were like pig, you know, our own grease fries us, you know, we use our own grease to fry ourselves. So you got your oil, you sell it to somebody, the person gave you gun to kill yourself, and so I think not only South Sudan, but all African countries should wake up.
Yeah, it is taking course. All right, let's go back home quickly. We have a lot of stories of interest here, and I will get to one that I will actually share with you when we wrote the American embassy about this money issue. But let's go to news public trust here. Thanks to our big brother there who behind this as well.
What's the name of that people? What is the name of that paper? New Public Trust?
Yeah, Frank Sanwola, thank you for this initiative. I will always continue to appreciate you for this initiative. News Public Trust. All right, they're doing great as well. Always informing us about Liberia. Okay, let's quickly go and grab some of the headlines that are there as they appear here. Who set off fake Liberian foreign minister's Facebook account? That's the question mark there. Who set off fake Liberian foreign minister's fake Facebook account? Our talking point tonight, please. We want you to contribute. We're asking, is it in the interest? Is it in the best interest of Liberia for people of Liberia to institute citizen arrest on Minister Samuel Gweh? We want you to please help us. Is it good? I mean, should they do it? Should they go ahead to do it? Should Liberia go ahead to say, yeah, they are going to institute? I've always been hearing about citizen arrest. I've not seen it taking place. If it can take place this time in my own eye, I want to see. All right, quickly, let me go back to this story, the headlines. It says, who set up fake Liberian foreign minister's Facebook account? That's the question mark there. A big boost for a failed adult literacy program in Liberia. That's another one, another story here. Liberia opposition parties threaten mass action against bad governance. Liberia opposition parties threaten mass action against bad governance. I see Honorable Bonino Yuri, see His Excellency former Vice President Joseph Buakai. I see Mr. Cummins. I also see Mr. Oh, we're forgetting his name. Anyway, these are the Cummins. Zana Cummins, Bernard Yuri. Okay, Charles Bronskin. All right, so let's go to this. New RPU report shows well-designed quotas lead to significantly more women MPs. Okay, let's leave that. Go quickly to this. RSF declares a clear desire to silence critics in Liberia. RSF decries a clear desire to silence critics in Liberia. And what we see here is the newspaper or the radio station we're just talking about, or Linford was just talking about, Joy FM. My understanding is that it will be back on air tomorrow. Thank God to them. Aja is back in the news. They say Aja lulls government probe of missing money scandal, but warns against selective justice. Aja is the Association of Liberian Journalists in Americas, or in the Americas. Aja allows government probe of missing money scandal, but warns against selective justice. Okay, quickly to this. Plan for zero deforestation seriously discussed in Liberia. Okay, quickly today. Say foreign governments meddling in independent media. The case with my Chinese story. Foreign governments meddling in independent media. The case with my Chinese story. Okay, we stay here at the News Public Trust. Here it says here, 4th Africa Day of School Feeding celebrated in Abidjan. 4th Africa Day of School Feeding celebrated in Abidjan. And I see a couple of children there sitting on the table and eating food at home, what we used to refer to as care food. Oh, this is great. If we can begin to do this for our children back home in Liberia, it would really be great. All right, quickly, let's take the last one here. It said police say 2 other CBR officials on the run as Salif Weeks Hagba put behind bars. Wow. Police say 2 other CBR officials on the run as Salif Weeks Hagba put behind bars. These are the stories that are trending. But let me just link you up with this story. Foreign governments meddling in independent media. The case with my Chinese story. I think if I can link this story actually with the press release from the American embassy the last time. And in fact, just this forum that I had, we even wrote them on it. That we are not satisfied the way the pieces of advice they were giving us and the way they were advising us. It's almost like they are trying to and that we mentioned in the letter to the ambassador that they're trying to muscle what they call free speech in Liberia, and if that's the case, it's going to be really, really bad for Liberia. And we wrote them. Linford, we wrote them through their public right. There's a particular story we took as well. This guy posted a press release that he himself did, but then he took the seal of the United States and attached it there. So to convince people that actually it is from the U.S. Embassy. And so when I read it, and there was argument, counter argument on that post, and I told him, I said, well, in my response to him, I said, if you are not working for the embassy, what you did could put you into serious trouble. Even if you are working for the embassy, I know definitely that this is not how the press release will be released. You have the logo one side, and then you have the press release one side. The logo is not in the letterhead. I said this could plunge you. So what we did, we actually forwarded the email, the communication to the office, and we told them, we asked them whether the press release is from them, because the wordings in there is like they are actually not only meddling in the affairs of Liberia, but they are directly telling the people not to speak. Because if they are saying in that press release that nobody should question Samuel Tue, then that means the U.S. Embassy isn't playing the right role in Liberia. That's why we said in our letter. And Linford, this is the reply they sent us, which if I see anything of that nature tomorrow, it's not going to, I'm just going to conclude that it's from the American Embassy. This is what they told us. The U.S. Embassy acknowledges receipt of your letter. We appreciate your concern about various social media posting, but believe that the Liberian public will be able to distinguish between the embassy's official messages and the commentary of private individuals. Now, So that means they're telling us that whenever we see anything of that nature with the receipt of the United States Embassy, you should run your own judgment whether to say, yeah, this from the embassy or not, according to their reply. So that's it.
I don't know how the American embassy will expect a country like Liberia with 80% of the population unlettered, or even if some of them have sat in classrooms before, they can hardly convince anybody that they have sat in classroom before by their utterances, their level of comprehension. How does the American embassy expect that such a population can make sound judgment from what they read? I think the American embassy, in that reply, they kind of like, yeah. I mean, let me tell you, this is it. It's like, okay, yeah, it's your business. Just go. What you want to believe, believe what you want to believe. Yeah. So they left us on a hook,
But Linford, it could embarrass them tomorrow.
Yeah, but they've already told us. I mean, if you look at it, I think they play a very smart game there. They said, just go and read and believe what you believe. If you think it's from the American embassy, fine. If it is not, fine. And now they can defend themselves tomorrow. If anybody want to say, okay, this piece of document came from the American embassy and we want to take social steps or whatever, they can say, well, it's not us. Come bring your proof. So it's left with us.
Yeah, but the thing here is, Linford, what I'm trying to say, they could embarrass themselves as well tomorrow, because something could come out tomorrow where somebody have gone and took the seal of the USA, which they always use on their letterhead, and do it. So imagine I have gone and taken your organization letterhead or your logo and use it in a communication that you have no knowledge of. Number one, your organization reputation is at stake, isn't it? So obviously,
yeah, I agree.
It left for you now to come and defend yourself and say, well, this is not right. But if they say, if you want to believe, believe it. If you don't want to believe, don't believe it. Then I don't know how they would defend that tomorrow if time comes tomorrow. Maybe we'll remind them tomorrow that this is why you said it last time when we wrote to you on this issue. But let's get back to the stories. I tried to flag out AJA press release, so maybe we can look a little bit into that. But the headlines, do you have the headlines before you now?
Yeah, I'm only on Africa.
Okay. Let's flag out the AJA. Let me go through AJA, and then let's forget about the rest of the story. We'll go to front page, yeah, and then then you can analyze the story. It's not that long here. Let's go to AJA. AJA allows government probe of missing money scandal, but warns against selective justice. We see the president of AJA there in Delaware. Okay, Newcastle, Delaware. The Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas, AJA, says it welcomes the swift and robust action taken by the Liberian government in bringing to justice the alleged perpetrators linked to the missing $16 billion Liberian scandal in the country. But the association is cautioning the government against acts that insinuate selective justice in how the matter and the unaccounted for US $25 million mop-up exercise are being handled. AJA says the recent arrest and detention of 5 current former executives of the Central Bank of Liberia, CBL, including former Governor Milton Weeks and Deputy Governor Charles Saliv, for their alleged roles played in the missing $16 billion Liberian scandal is praiseworthy. But in a statement issued on Monday, March the 4th, 2019, AJA called on the Gweh administration not to limit the ongoing fight against corruption in Liberia to the accused. AJA urged President Gweh to muster the courage in taking similar actions in bringing to justice Liberia's Finance and Development Planning Minister, Samuel Toy, and others implicated in the management of the government US $25 million mob-up exercise. AJA insists if the ongoing persecution of the CBO executives for alleged economic crime is to be seen as credible and impartial, then the need for Minister Gweh and others who implemented the mismanaged mob exercise to face justice cannot be overstated. The association said beginning July 2018 to October 2018, the Finance and Development Planning Minister, as chairman of the Liberia Economic Management Team, EMT, in collaboration with the CBL authority, reportedly supervised the physical purchase of Liberian dollar banknotes from local businesses and foreign exchange bureaus in keeping with the government's mob-up initiative, which focused on the rejuvenation of the Liberian economy through the elimination of excess Liberian dollars from the market. However, AJA, quoting the US-based Crow Incorporated, a division of Duff and Phelps, recently released scoping reports. Independent review regarding allegation of the disappearance of new Liberian banknotes maintained the minister and the CBL authority reportedly executed the US $25 million mob exercise without a clearly documented strategy as to how the money was spent. The association said while it acknowledges and supports the prosecution of the arrested and detained CBL executives for their complicity in the missing $16 billion Liberian dollars scandal, it strongly believes the Finance and Development Planning Minister and other linked to the US $25 million mob-up exercise should also be investigated and made to fully account for how the people's money was spent. The Americas-based Liberian journalist, quoting the legal maxim, he who comes into equity must come with clean hands, said it sets a bad precedent for the CDC-led government to focus solely on the prosecution of former Governor Weeks, Deputy Governor Salif, and the other accused, while ignoring the indicated failure of Minister Gweh and the others to account for the US $25 million for the Gweh administration professed mob-up exercise. And finally, meanwhile, AJA is reminding President Gweh that if his pronounced fight against corruption and dishonesty in the public sector is to be taken seriously, then he must begin to hold all public officials accountable. Especially those linked to acts that are inimical to the peace and stability of Liberia. Mr. President, you can't fight graft by cherry picking in terms of who gets persecuted or not when economic crimes are committed by government officials. The AJA press release quoted the association national president Moses D. Sandy as saying, okay, that's the story. Linford, what you make of the story? I think AJA is actually speaking as compared to Eula.
Well, that story from AJA, as you went through the story, is like I was sitting right there when Moses, Sandy, and the rest of the guys were writing that story. This is exactly what I would have said. That story is well written in the context of journalism and well balanced. Now, from my perspective, now AJA is just re-echoing what the Liberian people have been saying, because this whole investigation, if for those of us, or not me, but those of you who are legal minded, if you go through the report from both the government commission and that of Crow, you'll find out that Robert Salif and the rest of the guys that are behind bars now were not named. Their names were not mentioned in the report as being culpable. But the report, some part of the report rather said that these people had some oversight mistakes that they made that led to the excess printing of money. And that should be investigated. But I'm not saying that these people should not be arrested. But like you heard a quotation from the news story that says, "He who comes to equity must come with clean hands." So if somebody made mistake, you tell me, oh, Linford go to my customer and tell him to give me 1 loaf of bread, and I go and tell him, man, oh, my brother said you should give me 5 loaves of bread. If I bring 5 loaves of bread, and then at the same time you send another person, you say, my man, go and buy me 1 soft drink, and the man, instead of carrying the exact money for the soft drink, he carry excess money to buy 1 soft drink. So the two of us, we are culpable. I was supposed to bring 1 loaf of bread, I brought 5. You send the man to buy 1 soft drink, and he carried more money.
Yeah.
I can buy several soft drinks, and only brought 1 soft drink. So that analogy goes to Samuel 12. Samuel 12 takes $25 million. I don't know how he took it in a backpack or put it in his car or wherever. And I listened to a video that Alpha Diga played about Samuel 12. It's not a new video, but this video where Samuel 12 was on OKFM and trying to explain. He said they took the money to go infuse it into the economy out of the normal procedure. That alone is a violation of the law.
Yeah.
Something that you cannot touch with water. You can't put your hands in your finger in your mouth and touch it with your saliva. Saliva is water. So if you are not supposed to do this, why would you do it? And knowing that this is not a personal property. So that alone, from my own perspective, if our president we are, Samuel 12 would be questionable. But according to Samuel 12, that was the mandate from the president. So this whole thing is that people, when I listen to the president upon his return, his government is vindicated. The president is very, very uninformed about most of the things that he says. He doesn't know. And I don't blame him. He got people around him who should tell him, but he doesn't know. You send Samuel 12, according to Samuel 12 indicted the president because he said it was an order from the president. So if you send the Samuel 12 man, your minister of finance, to take money and go put it in money changers' hands, people that do know, several questions are there to answer. The money that you were retrieving from the market by selling this US dollar to the people, what did you do with that money? Did you burn it, or because you said you were afraid for the money to go back into the bank? Yeah. So then, what did you do with that money? Because we know this is money. So if you carry $25 million and give it to money changers, and these money changers in return give you Liberian dollars, and you say you want to move these Liberian dollars from the market, what did you do with it? Because first of all, Samuel clearly said in a video that they didn't want to go to the commercial banks because these business people have that money in the commercial banks and they want to get the money from the market. So they can't go to the commercial bank and take the money. So what they wanted to do was to go to the market people, the money changers, and take the money. So when you take that money, where did you carry it? You carry it to your house? See? So there's a lot of questions. So for the president to still be sitting and not sending Samuel 12 to be questioned, that's why I just said, we all applaud because we have all been crying against corruption.
Yeah.
We are all being saying that people who mismanage public funds, our money, should be brought to justice. So arresting Robert Salif and the rest of the guys is a good start. We agree. But what about the other people who have even more questions to answer? The report did not mention that Robert Salif handled physical cash. They only signed a document, and the signing of that document led to the overprinting of the money. Samuel 12 handled physical cash from himself, from his own mouth. He handled physical cash to go give it to money changers in West Point or other places. What happened to the money that he withdrew from the market? Why they can't question him? And why would he be going scot-free? So Aja was on point when they commended the government. It's a right step. in the right direction. People who are mismanaging our funds should be questionable, but it should not be selective. Do not put certain group of people aside and take one group of people, target one group of people. Then, according to what the story said, then your procedure of going about this whole process will not be credible. Liberian people are already starting to cry against that. And so I think Aja was just re-echoing what the Liberian people are talking about. And I think the president or the government should listen to some of these things.
All right. Let me just respond to somebody here. Okay. All right. Welcome back. That's from our print news review tonight. We have veteran journalist. Once a journalist is always a journalist. So whether he left the career or not, he's a veteran now. So it's great to have Linford Gweh in our studio tonight. Analyzing those stories according to how they are trended today. Let's go now to do our final news paper tonight. The front page Africa. I keep suggesting to these people they need to improve on this the way the headlines are published, so at least they can give us enough room to read the headlines better. All right, this one says here, Salif, Weeks, and others indicated as fear of death news buzzes. Liberia, Salif, Weeks, and others indicted as fear of death news buzzes. Quickly to this one see here, eyebrows rising as gender ministry observes International Women's Day. I'm not even going to waste my time on that other story. Liberians cry out as hardship bites harder. Liberians cry out as hardship bites harder. See women, they're business people as well. In this photograph, this one says here, Buse Quarter, a Monrovia slum community facing drinking water problem. Wow, let's see a couple of containers of water and a lady drawing in water here. And this one says here, House controversially concurs with Senate in ratifying the hummingbird deal. Both voting again. All right. All right, Linford, any story you want us to expand on?
Well, the story that I wanted us to expand on is this the story about the RSF, Radio Sans Frontier, or Radio Without Borders. It was the same thing we started off with about when you posed that question to me about well, how do I see the government media relationship? And I will point blank emphasize this government that the media is the fourth branch of government de facto, and the media is useful. The media is useful for both the government and for the citizens. The media can be in your favor, the media can be against you. Why do I say that? Now listen, anybody pushed to the wall must fight back. Those of you who play football, when the football is lying down, it doesn't move. You have to kick it. The force you apply on the football is what makes it move. And if it hits another surface, it can come back to you. So the media is not the enemy of the state. The media is not the enemy of the government. Rather, the media should be the mouthpiece of the government. The media, that's why we call ourselves the watchdog. Now, what if something bad is going to happen or is coming up? The media will break the story. It can help the government to take precautions. What if the government is doing something good, improvements and whatever? The media can help to sell the policies of the government. Now, you know, when people, I don't know, when people talk about the media, people think it's really the man who holds the microphone and goes and interviews, or the man who sits in the studio and reads the news, or the guy who sits behind the console and play the music. No. Even a leaflet, a small leaflet, is a powerful media. See, so when government begin to see the media as enemy, my friend, let me put it in the Liberian way, you're digging your own grave, because the media has nothing to lose. We in the news, we got nothing to lose. The first thing, it's very difficult to see rich journalists. It's very difficult. We make other people rich. We promote rich people, but we don't get rich. We do the job for the passion. We do the job because somebody has got to do the dirty job, and we do it. You guys go in, somebody will run it behind you guys with the microphone up and down.
Yeah.
While you're sitting there eating, you having dinner, we're sending us out waiting for you to come so we can just get 1 or 2 words from you. You think we don't have the right to be like you? But everybody cannot be president. Everybody cannot be minister. So some of us choose, according to the passion I have for the job, to do that job. But when you begin to see us as enemies, and you begin to make us to feel threatened, my friend, you create your own enemy. We got nothing to lose. I've been a journalist for more than 30 years. I'm still a journalist. But you who are you the president, my friend, you got more to lose, or you the minister, you got more to lose than me. See, so I think the government must now begin to engage the press in a very positive way. Just go to the minister or the ministry, the entire Ministry of Information. Now, you know, when I see sometimes, like I said, Mike, you know, Max, things are going out of hand, because I get baffled when I see Deputy Minister of Information for Public Affairs, Eugene Fangon, goes online and begins to, you know, say things against the other media institutions. Are you separating the Minister of Information from the other media institutions? You should be the coordinator of government policy to those institutions. You should be bringing them together. But you challenge them, you go instead, you know. So then I get confused. And if this kind of attitude continues, this behavior continues, I don't see where in the near future Liberian government and the media will cooperate.
Yeah.
We'll rather have this fashionable kind of, you know, media, where one media will hold, you know, loyalty to the power that be, and the other one will say, well, saying nobody's caring for us. We stand out to do the right thing.
And Linford, just to let you know, that is exactly what is going on. Even the era of Mother Ellen Johnson Sirleaf as well. Media institutions now, they are no longer independent. Majority of them, especially in Liberia, they are no longer independent. Because, and sometimes some of them will tell you, man, if you're not in it, you can't get it.
Of course.
What, you know, a colleague told me that the last time. I said, what do you mean? I said, well, we don't even get a press release from the government, because they say we are not in their favor. I said, wow, really?
Yeah, it happens, Max. I'm not cutting you off. I've experienced it, where even when I used to work at a radio station like during President Taylor's time, I mean, my conscience, I must be fair. There were some media institutions that were not even allowed, you know, like when we're traveling with the president, or sometimes some press conferences, some media institutions were not allowed to send out representatives. You see, and for me, this is wrong, because, like I said, those people have nothing to lose. They're doing their job. They got nothing to lose. I mean, we work, we get our salaries. Simple. So I get my salary, I go home, I'm sleeping. I can damage you. I can say anything about you. You will be now there trying to, you know, make up while I'm lying down, daybreak. I go and do my job. I get my pay. You see, so those in government, those in authorities must know that the press or the media is a friend. If you treat them good, I'm not saying that no. People may not get me wrong, should not get me wrong. I'm not saying that you should pamper the press, but give them the free hand to work. Do not make them to feel or insecure, do not make them to feel that you are against them or they against you, or you are no. The person could be your friend one day, next day they'll be, because we look for the unusual things that happen. So if you do the unusual thing, it makes news. Whether that unusual thing is good or bad, it makes news. So not because we carry news story against you today, so we become your enemy, and tomorrow you will need us. You see, so I think they should try to mend. They should try to mend their wounded relationship.
All right, let me get. I just flag out the story here. I'll come so we can look at it, because what is unfolding today, Linford. I mean, the only person, to me personally, as a journalist and also concerned citizen, the people that can tell you